This is my wife's 2025 Ninja 500, and we got it for $2,000. But this isn't how it looked when we first picked it up. And I'm gonna fix it in 24 hours. Overall, the bike's in pretty good condition. I'm surprised it even went to auction. We have to replace the frame slider on the side. All these plastics and fairings are all scratched up all the way to the back. Engine and case is fine, even the forks are fine. We have a little scrape on the bar end right here. This rear fairing got scraped up. The worst of it's right here. Our shifter peg got bent backwards and we're missing our foot peg completely. So we have to order this bracket right here, replace all of this. It is the SE model, so we have the keyless ignition. It only has 1,800 miles on it. So basically a brand new bike that we were able to get for more than half off. Let's go ahead and pull it into the shade and replace that foot peg. We have the part. It looks like it was dropped from an airplane, but hopefully it's fine. Let's go ahead and get it open and get this one replaced. It's one way to pack something.
Oh my gosh.
But this will go right there. So let's go ahead and get this one off. Looks like we have to take off this plastic cover first, and then we can get to the bolts underneath that hold on this whole linkage that broke. So let's go ahead and get this off. Now that we have the sprocket cover off, you can see a lot more of the part we're replacing right here. It looks like we're going to disconnect the shifter linkage here, and that's a 10 mil. Take out these 3 bolts and this should just come off. This one's on here pretty tight. That's 1, 12, and a 14. Now that this broken one's off, we'll replace it with this good one. Guy put zip tie around this cable, but it is what it is. Hopefully everything lines up and our frame isn't bent anywhere. Looks like we're all good. And hopefully our frame sliders come soon and we can get those replaced. And last but not least, we have this last little plastic cover. We have our peg and shifter on. There's only one way to test it, and that's to give it a quick little spin around the yard. It feels so weird actually having a shifter on it. It's working. I'm able to find first, neutral, second. I go up, it just goes into neutral. Can't get into second, which I think is fine because when I'm driving around, it seems to find second pretty easy. So now let's go ahead and replace this frame slider. I think they just came in. Frame sliders, I think we just have to take off this fairing and then we should be able to get to the frame, put the fairing on, put the frame slider on. But let me unbox these and show you guys what we got. So we didn't go with the OEM ones just because we weren't the biggest fan of how they looked. My wife wasn't the biggest fan of how they looked. So we went with these ones. That's a Ninja, and we can also switch out the center cap to say 500 if we want, but I think we're gonna keep it with the Ninja. We have bolts, both frame sliders, extenders. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I was worried about not being able to get to the bolts, but now we have a little souvenir from the previous owner. Now it should be a little easier to replace this one. The bolt was already so loose. This is what's left of the old frame slider. Now we have to assemble what we have of this frame slider and get it all put together. I'm just slowly removing screws until I get this whole fairing off. It doesn't seem too bad. Seems like everything's kind of just flipped in. I'm not too worried about breaking anything. Let me take off this rear seat. Let me take off the driver's seat and see if there's any underneath there. Yep, one little screw. Crank that one down. Just like that, pretty quick and easy. I'm gonna leave it dangling like that. I'm putting this one back on for now anyway. But we're gonna slide in our frame slider into the frame right here, and it'll be done. Actually, looks like we have to remove one bolt right here and put this one in to replace it. Looks more like a naked. She doesn't like nakeds. Anyway, we're replacing this bolt with this one. But this way, it'll go, this bolt will hold the frame slider on completely into the frame. So this is another spacer, and this goes all the way into the frame. I'm gonna go ahead and try to follow this diagram on how all this goes together, and then we'll adjust it and tighten everything down finally so that it's where it needs to be. So these are all really nice machined aluminum parts, yet they kind of just give you this piece of paper and all these Ziploc bags with all these little parts in them and expect you to figure it out. It's not too bad, but if you're someone who's not the best with puzzles, probably not the best idea.
Bless you.
To order these off Amazon. But it goes something like that, and then this big piece goes on the end, and this all bolts up onto there. So you can see there's a whole bunch of little pieces here that make up this puzzle, and this just gets bolted in. Now we can adjust this, put the end cap on, tighten everything down, and we'll have one frame slider done. Now it's time to change the color of the bike. So it's our first little sneak peek. Looks like we have some kind of heat shielding, sticky stuff. Barely see-through.
Ooh, it's like purple and pink.
The other side.
Because it's gonna be half-half.
The one half of the bike's gonna be forged carbon, and the other is gonna be this. Can you tell like the chameleon, the different colors?
Yeah.
Purple,
pink, and gray.
Blue, pink. What we've got unboxed so far. The chicken's enjoying it. Half this color. Let's clean up after ourselves. Except for that on top. Not sure if there's a specific way some parts are supposed to come off and on, but we're just gonna go with taking things off and then putting them on in the same order they came off, or the opposite order I guess, and see what happens. So we'll just start with the seats and then start taking bolts out. I'm going to be cross-referencing a lot of these mounting brackets so that I know where all the screws are. So there you have it. We got the perfect beginner bike for less than $3,000, and we couldn't be happier. It's a brand new bike, looks amazing, drives amazing, and it's gonna be a great project for us to learn how to ride on and then eventually get something bigger. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.